Goosebumps is rated GB7 because it may be too spooky for Goosebumps fans under 7.
Hello, Goosebumps fans. We have a good one here. This is a good one. Yep, Goosebumps Completionist really actually has something. Yeah, the version that I came up with. Oh, good lord, ew. Well, that sucks. Looks like Cuddle's been here. Damn. Gross. Anyways, like I was saying, is that he actually took my rewrite and blew it out of the water. So I think it's a good idea to share because eventually you know what happened with comments. Comments usually would just get buried and buried and buried. This video could get buried too, but the good news is that, at least we get to have the story out there just in case people who don't actually look at the comments and stuff, they get to see the taste that he actually gave us. So here is his rewrite. Oh man, are you ready? So what he wants to do is scrap the friends, have a government agent come to visit Evan, asking him questions about Sarah Beth and the events of evolving Cuddles and him growing big to gain access to what he had to get a government advantage for making super soldiers or something wild. Well, let me just put a side note is that I'm pretty sure, was it the third book? It's like, I think the third book had that, right? Well, the third book had the army. I'm pretty sure the third book had the army, and in the fourth book, they had the government agents. So it makes sense that the government agents come now because the third book happened, and it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they need to do something. It's crazy that there should be, and I know, I'm going to continue, but I'm just saying there should be kind of a good spin-off to where we have, detectives looking through all the Goosebumps series, just being like, this is weird, this is weird, this is weird, this is weird. It's like, I think they do have that in one Goosebumps, Give Yourself Goosebumps book. I think it's like a side note somewhere. So I was like, yeah, I would love to see more of those guys, but we'll never will. Anyways, let's continue on. Evan says he doesn't have the monster blood. It is all tied to Sarah Beth or something. The agent can be like, who is Sarah Beth? And Evan explains what happened in the first book and how it continued on to the second and third book. Well, the only messed up part of this where I'm like, I still need to get confirmation so I could finally put my theory to rest. And it gets on Goosebumps Wikipedia page to be like, you leave it alone. Monster Blood's the reason why I'm here. The question that I have still is, which can was used in the third book? Was it the original can or was it the second can? I need to know if the second can that came from Germany was activated. I don't know that. I wish I knew, but I'm pretty sure I'm leading now towards where it's like, no, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't do it. It's like, I'm pretty sure it was the first can that was used in the third book, and alchemy happened where the yeast was able to reactivate some of its growing properties. Anyways, let's get going. The agent then says he wants the monster blood and pressures Evan to give it. And meanwhile, Evan finds a can of empty monster blood and stuff it in his backpack to try to con the agent to get him to leave him alone. He goes to his aunt's house for a week after the visit and searches around Aunt Catherine maybe for something left over from Sarah Beth. He finds a book of recipes and can't find a recipe for monster blood as it was torn out. However, he sees a page reading for Evan. Evan sees it's a recipe and makes it by its instructions, but the mixture comes out blue instead of green and he's frustrated. He reads a spell at the bottom of the page and Evan watches as these little slug creatures come to life out of the mixture. He notices when they move, it causes him a lot of pain. Yeah, now here comes the borderline about to get into Ultimate Goosebumps / Goosebumps 2000. He looks at his arms and his blood vessels are bulging blue and throbbing. he starts realizing he can control the blue slugs and squishes them into the can to figure out what to do with them later. Then go from there, he comes back home taking Sarah Beth's book with him. He tells Andy about what happened, and Andy says they shouldn't tell anyone else. And then the story goes into hijinks, maybe with Conan being confronted by the government official and being told to make monster blood as well. So Conan asks Evan about it, and Evan says he doesn't have any because he doesn't. Conan releases the blue slugs. Conan ends up sneaking into Evan's room and taking the blue slugs away and giving them over to the government official, which, surprise, surprise, is Sarah Beth disguised as an official. She then unleashes the blue slugs that brings Evan back to pain, and this time Sarah Beth uses magic so that Evan has a difficulty controlling them. The slugs then begin to attach themselves to people and begin controlling people through their lips, attaching like leeches onto the skin to control the blood movement. I know, this is really like borderline Goosebumps 2000, which that's what this book should have been. Now these monster blood possessed people start wreaking havoc among Evan's town. Sarah Beth look onward with pleasure. Evan feels defeated. Then when he sees a piece of paper in Sarah Beth's back pocket, it has to be the old monster blood recipe. He signals Andy to get it, and Andy scurries off with Conan while Kermit makes an extraction, becoming possessed by a blue slug himself. Ultimately, the story ends up with Andy and Conan making original monster blood and putting it in a can that contains the other blue monster blood before. They notice that the green monster blood likes eating the blue monster blood, so they get the idea to unleash it, and so it targets the blue monster blood to kill it. Then a chaotic finale happens when the green monster blood is eating up the blue slugs, and Sarah Beth has had enough and eats one of the blue slugs. This allows her to hive mind control everyone who still has a blue slug attached, and she forces Kermit to eat the green blood to maximize himself humongous, and Evan is now in the most pain ever. Evan tries all his might to control Kermit, and when he does, he forces the giant slug off of Kermit, leaving Kermit huge. The giant slug is going back and forth in control between Sarah Beth and Evan. Evan realizes his blood is the key to how to control the blue blood. Let's say the blue blood. So he focuses in on Sarah Beth, who has the blue blood, and forces her to vomit it up. Then Evan forces all the blue monster blood to get together and attach to Sarah, which he then instructs the blue monster blood attached to Sarah to march into the green monster blood and get eaten, which results in Sarah Beth's death again. Next time, a squadron of helicopters and army tanks come in and captures the blue monster blood, and Kermit shrinks down to normal size. The agent are thankful for Evan and his friends giving them what they wanted. Confused, Evan said no problem and waves them off and sees the blue slugs attached to their backs. Freaked out, Evan turns around and sees a giant green blob of monster blood with throbbing blue veins, realizing the monster blood will now consume the world. End scene. Alright, let's see where we are on the whole thing. Okay, good. I have a few time to play. I have some playtime. Well, of course, we don't need to have a good reason why Sarah Beth is back, but we do have to remember that the spell that was cast in the green monster blood was the fact that it was just green putty. Personally, I would just say, why not just have the spell being used on the second can that came from Germany? Yeah, because Sarah Beth doesn't know what the green monster blood does. It's like Sarah Beth just saw it, cast a spell on it. She didn't actually create it, though. But of course, since it's been so long to talk about Monster Blood, I mean, Monster Blood has some continuity issues anyways, but this one's like the biggest one where it's like, oh crap. Technically, this is from the TV show though, because in the TV show, they didn't have the story. It was just Green Monster Blood was just there. And it's like, if you go by the TV show, then yes. But as for the book, actual book, you can't really do that. The only way you can really do something interesting is that she somehow was able to cast a spell to be like, the second can that he touches. But I already dismissed the whole thing of where it's like, if he touches the can, that's the reason why it activates. It's like, no. Now you got to read the fine print. She casts a spell on the damn can and the contents within the can. The messed up part is that the can was waning in the first place, so the magic spell doesn't last forever. That's the messed up part. So with the magic spell not lasting forever, that means that the expiration date is the reason why the power actually got waned. And since she's the conduit who actually had the power that gave the Monster Blood the power, with her being gone, that's why it basically doesn't really work that much. It has to recover after a long while versus it didn't have to recover in the first book. And the third book, as you can figure, it got to recover because they use alchemy. They used the yeast in the cake, and that actually caused something. The only thing is just that it wasn't enough to truly make it, because then that means the whole entire basement should have been filled with all that batter, but it was only able to just be a little bit of a conduit and just kickstart it, but that's it. That's all it was able to do. That's why Evan wasn't able to turn as big as, continue to grow, because it wasn't enough. It wasn't that powerful, and it was expired. And I'm going by expired, the first can. The second can, we don't know. I'm sorry, but we don't know. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure now thinking about it, it's like the second can might have been the can in Return to Horrorland. It's like, yeah, because I was thinking, I'm pretty sure they used all of that and the can's gone. I mean, the can has nothing in it. The original can has nothing in it. The second can does have something in it, but it's just putty. So that's why it's like, yeah, so when he was on that TV show and he just showed the freaking, he's like, why are you touching the Monster Blood if it can attack you? It's like, yeah, because it's either expired or never was cursed at all. But I enjoyed this. It's like, I enjoyed this story. It's just some little plot holes and issues, but every single story has plot holes and issues. It's like, how the frick is your mom and dad are back? It should have just been her aunt and uncle, and her uncle at least got to have like a little bit more than her dad should have. But yeah, what do you think about this interesting rewrite of Monster Blood 4? I think it actually would have been a nice one to top everything off, to be like, and the next thing to come is Goosebumps 2000, more scarier and everything. It's like, yeah, this one would have been good. The only messed up parts, like the blood vessels and stuff, is like, ugh, ew, gross. As for the whole devouring of the world, then it's like, oh great, now you just ruined the whole Goosebumps universe. It's like, then how does this work now? Because now you're gonna make the Monster Blood eat everything. It's like, yeah, now it turns out that yes, there's a new universe, and the whole 62 universe doesn't exist anymore. Everything is gone. It's gone. Fit him out. No, not only that, but it's like, then you just answered the question of what happened to all the humans, which I'm pretty sure Monster Blood eat anything no matter what. So, and plus, even if Brent Green was invisible, Monster Blood don't care, he'll still eat you. So it's like, yeah, this is the messed up part where it's like, in the continuity of everything, especially in the original 62, this wouldn't work. You gotta have to think of something different, but of course, it's a cliffhanger. Of course it will not affect the world somehow. Yeah, but it's only up to all of us to figure out how does this play out officially. But anyways, yeah, I thought it's a good idea to share this one. So have a scary day, have a scary night, and comment down below if you actually liked and enjoyed this rewrite.